Hey everyone, my name is Michael Root with Ableton Keys. Today I have a fun one for you. I want to show you how to use Ableton Live to sync the tempo on your Roland Fantom O. And this can apply to other MIDI keyboards, workstations, since if it has MIDI, most likely it has the ability to sync tempos from a MIDI source. By now, hopefully you watched the Roland Fantom O program change tutorial. So this is going to skill stack on top of all that stuff. This is super easy. Again, I have a Mio XC connected to my Roland. This can work on any kind of MIDI connection. If you need help with that, check out Will Doggett at From Studio to Stage. Let's jump into Ableton. So I have a set that I use with my band Signal Fire, and we're going to go into Preferences, which is Command Comma. And again, super easy. Find your output and find whatever MIDI interface, MIDI device that you're using. For my case, this is the Mio XC. When I play live, I have RTP connections coming from a Play Audio into a Mio XM. So if you have that kind of setup, you would see Mio XM here. Super easy. Press sync, and that's it. That is all that we have to worry about in Ableton. So let's jump into the Roland Fantom. A little more complicated, but so easy. Press menu. Scroll down to System, and then you can use this knob or touch screen to scroll down to Sync and Tempo. And we're going to move internal to external because externally we are receiving MIDI clock. So we can exit out of there. And in here I have a super basic piano patch, just kind of pulled this up so don't judge the sound. Slightly out of the screen over here is your effects button, so I'll press that. And I just pulled up a very simple delay. I have a 8th note delay. That way we'll be able to hear the 8th note pulsing with Ableton Live. So if I jump you back into Ableton Live, let's choose a song. I'm going to choose a faster song to start out with. Alright, so let's press play in Ableton. One more quick note, it takes about one measure over the course of your count-in on your song for the Roland Fantom to sync up with what it's receiving from Ableton. So as long as you have an intro that's 4 beats, you should be good there. The only time this could be an issue, and I don't think it would be that big of a deal in my opinion, but if you're playing a line and you need the delay right in at the top, maybe it's a transition between one song or the other, you may have some issues there. At that point, you kind of have to ask yourself if you want to use this trick, if you don't want to use this trick, and you want to set the tempo internally and set all your patches at the right tempo. But let's jump you back into Ableton, and I will press play.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And then now I'm just going to play a chord on the beat, and you will hear it pulse in 8th notes at the exact tempo. So hopefully you can hear that well. One way to check is if we exit out of here, we go back into our menu, System, and we set this from external back to internal, and then we can press this tempo button right here. And the song in Ableton, if I jump you back in Ableton up here, you can see we are at 79 BPM. On the Roland Fantom O, we're at 79 BPM. Let's remember to turn the Roland back to external tempo, and I will press play in Ableton.
Own 2 hands. Intro, 2, 3, 4.
So you can see already it took that one measure, and that was it. And by the time that I hit a chord on the very first downbeat, it was perfectly in sync. Let's check this by setting the Roland Fantom to internal. And the BPM of this song, if we jump back into Ableton, is 75. Back over to the Roland, let's hit tempo, and we're at 75. So some helpful tips to keep in mind, whether you're programming the Ableton session or your band has a playback tech that's programming everything. You want to know exactly what tempos that they are putting in Ableton. Because say this song is 75 BPMs, but if I programmed it at 150, which can work in Ableton, you can absolutely program a song, in the 150 or the 75, which has happened. I have programmed some songs at 140 and 70, and I've gone back and everything is at the lower BPM. So all of my songs are between 60 and 80-ish if we have a faster song. All right, let me jump you into Ableton, and I'm going to double click on my tempo track to pull up this menu here, and I'm going to put in the tempo 150, lead, follow, and that should, yep, that click is, again, because I programmed this for 75, some things may be weird. This click is going to be double time. So for a little bonus tip, I'll jump you into my click track, and we're just going to disable all the 8th notes because now those are going to sound like 16th notes. Let's play it. And yeah, that sounds like our normal click, which is cool. So I'll press play kind of in the middle of the song and let the Roland Fantom sync up. And we'll jump back into here and we should see, oh, let's go back to external. So now it should be receiving the MIDI from, so now our tempo should be synced up. Let's check that before we move on. Yep, we got 150, go back to external. And let's see how this patch with 8th note delay, a lot faster, right? So that sounds more like the 16th notes if we're at 75 BPM, but because we're at 150 BPM in Ableton, then it's going to be faster. So in this case, then I would program it to quarter notes. And we should have the same delay that we had before when we were working with 75 BPM. Yep, there it is.
And intro, 2, 3, 4.
So now we're synced back up. So something to keep in mind, again, ask whoever is programming your tracks. If you're programming them, make sure that all your songs are consistent, that, you know, one song is not double the BPM. Like I said, I had to go back and rework one of my songs because it was programmed at the double time. I hope this was super helpful. Now you don't have to worry about having your tempo synced. You don't have to worry about changing your patches if you watched the last video. Everything in your Roland Fantom O can be automated. And again, these concepts can apply to other workstation keyboards that can accept MIDI. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. Ableton Keys on YouTube and Ableton Keys on Instagram. We have new YouTube videos out every single Friday. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see y'all next time.